Good day, viewers. Welcome to another mathematics lesson. My name is Khalid Diallo, and in today's lessons, we are going to look at plane shapes. And specifically, we are going to look at the properties of some plane shapes, which are going to be squares, rectangles, and triangles. So by the end of this lesson, we should be able to state the properties of these plane shapes, that is squares, rectangles, and triangles. And also, whenever we see these shapes in the environment, we should be able to tell what type of shape it is, so long it falls under squares, rectangles, and triangles. So we are going to look at each and every one of these shapes individually and examine their properties. What do they have in common, and what do they have? What do they differ? The difference that they have, and so on. So we start with the first one, which is a square. Now we know that we are told that all squares have 4 equal sides and 4 angles. They also have parallel opposite sides. Now what does this mean? Any square or any plane shape that you see and it has 4 equal sides. That is, if you have a plane shape and let's say this corner is A and we have B, C, and D. What we are saying here is the distance from A to B should be equal to the distance from B to C, and should be equal to the distance from C to D, and also should be equal to the distance from D to A. So you realize that all the 4 sides are going to be equal. That is one property of a square. All the sides are equal. Then the second property is where we talk about the angle. The angle formed at point B and the angle formed at point C, point D, and of course point A should all be equal, and they are all equal to 90 degrees. So in squares, all the sides are equal and all the angles are equal. Those are the 2 properties of a square. Remember, we said all the 4 sides are equal and all the angles are equal. As well, we look at the sides. If you look at side A to B is parallel to side D to C. And also, the other side B to C is also parallel to A to D. So among the properties of a square, we said all the 4 sides are equal, all the 4 angles are equal, and the parallel opposite sides are also, the opposite sides are also parallel to each other. So we move on. That is for squares. We look at rectangles. What do we know about rectangles? How do we identify rectangles? What are the properties of rectangles? That all rectangles have 4 sides and 4 angles. All rectangles have 4 sides and 4 angles. So whenever we see a shape that has maybe 3 sides or 5 sides, obviously it is not a rectangle, because rectangles have 4 sides and 4 angles. Also, 2 pairs of the opposite equal sides. 2 pairs of opposite equal sides. 2 pairs of opposite equal sides. I will explain that later. Opposite sides are parallel. Opposite sides are parallel. So I'm going to explain the first one, which is 4 sides and 4 angles. Like the shapes that you are seeing here on the board, they are all rectangles. As you can see, they have 4 sides and 4 angles. Let's have our own rectangle here to help us explain the concept very well. If you look at the figure, you realize that there are 4 sides. This side is one of the sides. We have the second side, the third side, and the fourth side. If you notice, I'm trying to indicate in the diagram that the side from A to B is parallel and equal to the side from C to D, assuming that the rectangle has these four labelings: A, B, C, and D. How many sides are in this rectangle? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 sides in the rectangle. And how many angles are there? We have angle A, angle B, angle C, angle D. The angle C and angle D, respectively. So how many angles do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 angles in this rectangle. We have 4 angles in this rectangle. So let's try to explain the other concepts. Let's try to explain the other concepts. I will have to redraw the rectangle. 2 pairs of opposite equal sides. We have 2 pairs of opposite equal sides. Let's say we have a rectangle here, and we have opposite sides as well, because this side here is opposite to this other side, and this side here is opposite to this other side. Now, what do we mean by 2 pairs of opposite equal sides? It simply means that the opposite sides are equal, and they are of 2 pairs. That is, the length is equal to the baseline here. They are opposite and they are equal, and the line on this other side is opposite to this other one, and they are also equal. Then the last point there is opposite sides that are parallel. The opposite sides are parallel. That is, if we are to label this rectangle as rectangle A, B, C, D, we are saying that the line that runs from point A to point B is parallel to the line that runs from point C to point D. That is what we mean by the opposite sides are parallel. And also, the line that runs from point B to point D is parallel to the line that runs from point A to point C. So the opposite sides are always parallel. These are some of the properties that we look at when we want to identify a rectangle. Remember, a rectangle has 4 sides, and the opposite sides are equal. It has 4 angles, and the opposite sides are also parallel. Then we look at the other one. Remember, we are to discuss 3. We look at triangles. We've looked at squares. We've looked at rectangles. Now we want to look at triangles. How do we identify triangles in our society? When we see triangles, how are we able to tell that this particular shape is a triangle? We have all triangles have 3 sides and 3 angles. No matter where you go, whenever you see a triangle, the simplest way or the easiest way to identify that this is a triangle is that it must have 3 sides and 3 angles. No matter the shape of the triangle, it must have 3 sides and 3 angles. We have 3 of them here. As you can see, maybe the way they are structured differ. But looking at the first one, it has 1, 2, 3 sides. And also it has 1, 2, 3 angles. Then the second one also, the one in green, we also have 3 sides here. This line, if we want to label this triangle, let's say this is this side is P, Q, and R. We call it triangle PQR. So from P to Q is one side, from Q to R is another side, and from R to P is another side. So we can say that this triangle has 3 sides. The triangle has three sides. And how many angles are in the triangle? At the first point that we have, that is point P, there is an angle there where the 2 lines meet, forms an angle. And where we have R, it's also another angle where the 2 lines meet. And point Q is also an angle where the 2 lines meet. That is, the line that comes from point R and point P forms an angle at point Q. So if you look at the second one also, it is a triangle because it has 3 sides and 3 angles. Then we look at the last one. Let's say that one is K, S, and L. Triangle K, S, and L. The line that runs from K to S is one side of the triangle, and the line that runs from S to L is another side of the triangle, and the line that runs from L to K is also another side of the triangle. So putting all the sides together, we have 3 sides. And how many angles do we have there? At point K, we have an angle. At point S, we have another angle. And also at point R, we have another angle. So all the 3 shapes that we have here are triangles because they all have 3 sides and they all have 3 angles. Now, regardless of how the shape is given to you, whensoever you can determine that it has 3 sides and 3 angles, obviously it is a triangle. I can have it like this. It is still a triangle because it has 3 sides and it has 3 angles. No matter how big the diagram is, no matter how small it is, so long it has 3 sides, it is called a triangle. We reflect back to the squares. Remember we said squares, they have 4 equal sides and they have 4 equal angles. 4 equal sides and 4 equal angles, and the opposite sides are parallel. Then the rectangle, we said they also have 4 equal sides and they also have 4, I meant to say they have 4 sides, not equal sides on the rectangles, mind you please. They have 4 sides and they have 4 angles. The opposite sides are parallel. The opposite sides are parallel and 2 pairs of the opposite sides are equal. Looking at what we have here, we said from A to B is equal to from C to D, and from B to D is equal to from A to C. That is for the rectangle. Then we look at the triangle. We said the triangles, they are shapes that have 3 sides. They are shapes that have 3 sides and they have 3 angles. No matter how they are drawn, they must have 3 sides and 3 angles to be qualified to be called triangles. So we are going to use the knowledge that we got so far from triangles, squares, and rectangles to see if we can answer the following questions. The first question we have, all 4 sides are equal on this shape. All 4 sides are equal on this shape. Now the options are true or false. Now let's look at the shape very well. Let's try to say, to identify if the shape has 4 equal sides, which is going to be a square, or it is a rectangle, or it is a triangle which has 3 sides. Looking at the shape closely and examining the structure of the shape carefully, we will arrive to a conclusion to say that all the sides are equal. So if all the sides are equal, then the statement is going to be true, that all the 4 sides are equal on this shape. all the four sides are equal on this shape. Therefore, the answer to that statement is going to be true. Then we look at the second one. The second one reads, this shape has parallel lines. This shape has parallel lines. And the options we have true or false. True or false. And what do you know about parallel lines? We said parallel lines are lines that move in the same direction and they will never meet. Looking at the case of a rectangle, we use the idea of parallel there. We said if we have this rectangle and we have the first point to be point A, B, C, and D, we all agreed that line AB, that is the line that runs from point A to point B, is parallel to the line that runs from point D to point C. Now, if we are going to look for lines that are parallel in the diagram that we are given, that is a key thing that we are going to look for. Now, first of all, let's try to see how many sides does the shape has. When you closely look at the shape, we can conclude that it has three sides. So, looking at it again, is there in any way we see three of these sides, two out of which are parallel? Well, the lines here are not parallel. So our answer to this question is going to be false. Our answer to the question is going to be false. This shape has parallel lines. When we look at the shape, it has no parallel lines, then the answer is going to be false. Then we move to the next one, and it reads, which shape has three sides? Which shape has three sides? We are given option A to D, and we are asked which shape among these options, that is from options lettered A to D, which one of them has three sides? So we are going to look at the shapes one after the other and see how many sides do they have. The first one, colored red, what can we say about it? If we are to count the shape, the number of sides that the shape has, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one is out of it. Because the question is asking for 3 sides and option A has 4 sides. Then we look at option B. Well, option B is a circle. Obviously, we cannot talk about sides there. So option B is also out of the count. Then we look at option C. Option C has sides. So let's count to verify if option C has 3 sides or otherwise. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Option C, we have a shape there that has 6 sides. But our question is asking which shape has 3 sides. So option C will not be the correct answer there. Then we look at option D, the shape colored in green. Option D here, we'll have to count the sides to verify if it has 3 sides or otherwise. So we count, we have 1, 2, 3. We can see that option D has 3 sides. Now, what do we say about shapes that have 3 sides? We say shapes that have 3 sides are referred to as triangles. And answering our question, which shape has 3 sides? Option D will give us the correct answer, as it is the only shape that has 3 sides in the question, in the answers rather. We move on to another question. Here it says, how many sides does this shape have? How many sides does this shape have? And we have option A to D. Option A says 4 sides. Option B says 5 sides. Option C says 6 sides, and option D says 3 sides. So hence we have the shape here. Let's count the number of sides that the shape has. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. The shape have 4 sides. The shape have 4 sides. So our correct answer is going to be option A, which has 4 sides. The correct answer is going to be option A, which has 4 sides. After we count the number of sides in the shape, we realize that there are 4 sides. So our correct option is going to be option A. We look at another question. Here we have 2 questions. The first question reads, which of the following shapes has 4 equal sides? 4 equal sides. Here it is not only asking about the sides, but it is asking about the equal sides. Which of the following has 4 equal sides? Well, we have option A to D as well. We look at option A first. First we verify how many sides does option A have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it has 4 sides. But what we are looking for is 4 equal sides. If you look at option A, are the sides equal? No, the sides are not equal. So therefore, it is not the answer to the question. We look at option B. Option B, we have a triangle. And what we know about triangles, they are shapes that have 3 equal sides. And if we verify by counting, we realize that that is true. We have 1, 2, 3 sides. So it doesn't answer our question. Which of the following shapes has 4 equal sides? We move on to the next option, which is option C. And what do we have there? We have a circle. So there we cannot even talk about sides. The circle here definitely is not part of the answers that will answer this question. The correct answers rather, that will answer the question. Then option D, we have another shape there, and looking at it and reflecting from what we've learned so far, we realize that option D is a square. And what do you know about squares? We said squares have 4 equal sides, and they also have 4 equal angles, and the opposite sides are equal. So judging from that knowledge, we know that option D is going to be our correct answer, as it is a square and all the 4 sides are equal. Then we move on to the second question. The second question says, which of the following shapes has 3 angles? Which of the following shapes has 3 angles? We have also options from A to D. Here, the question is asking about angles. The previous question was asking about sides. But the question that we have now is asking about angles. And how many angles are we asked? 3 angles. So we are going to look at the options, each shape in the options, and see whether we'll have one that has 3 angles. Look at the first one. The first one is a triangle. And what do we know about triangles? We said triangles are shapes, that's plane shapes that have 3 sides. But here we are interested about angles. And also we know that they have 3 angles. That is 1, 2, 3. So option A has a triangle and it has 3 angles. But let us not stop there. Let's continue to see whether we will have another shape that has 3 angles. We move to the second one. Well, the second one is a circle. We cannot talk about 3 angles there. Then we move to the third one, that is letter C. Letter C is a square. If you look at it properly, you realize that letter C is a square and it has 4 equal sides. it has 4 equal sides and has also 4 angles. So it doesn't answer our question. That is, which of the following shapes has 3 angles? Then option D is a rectangle. Option D is a rectangle. Well, it has 4 sides and also 4 angles. So if you look at all these shapes, which one of them has 3 angles? The correct option here is going to be option A. That is a triangle that has 3 angles. All right, we now look at this other question. It reads, state the number of squares, rectangles, and triangles that we have in this set of figures. We've talked about squares, we've talked about rectangles, and we've also talked about triangles. So we want to spot out how many squares do we have in this set of shapes. We want to also find out how many rectangles are there and also how many triangles are there. If you can recall, we've talked about squares. We said squares are shapes that have 4 equal sides. They have 4 equal sides and they have 4 angles. There are 4 equal sides and 4 angles. So we are going to look at the diagrams and find out how many squares do we have. So we are going to tick them. Wherever we see a square, we'll tick it and later we'll count how many squares do we have. Here, very visible. That's one of them. It's a square. This one too is very visible. It's also a square. Okay, we have another one here, which is also a square. We have another one here, which is also a square. Okay, 4 equal sides, 4 equal sides, and equal angles. This one too is a square. We are looking for 4 equal sides. Yes, you are seeing. You are also a square. All right. This one too is a square. No matter how small it is, all the sides are equal. This one too is a square. All the sides are equal. This one too is a square. All the sides are equal. Are we done? Let's see if we have left any 1 or 2 of them out. Here we have another one. It's a square. All the sides are equal. So let's try to cross check and see if yes, there's another one here. This one too is a square. So it's always good to cross check when you come across questions like this. All right. It seems we have ticked all the squares. So let's try to count them and see how many squares do we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 squares. So can we count again to confirm? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 squares. We have 11 squares. Now we move to the triangles. What did we say about triangles? We said triangles are plane shapes that have 3 sides and 3 angles. They have 3 sides and 3 angles. We've been talking about triangles for the past 30 minutes. So let's see how many triangles do we have here. We are looking for shapes that have 3 sides and 3 angles. 3 sides and 3 angles. 3 sides and 3 angles. 3 sides, you are here, one of them is here, you have another one here, small but visible. This one too has 3 sides, this one equally has 3 sides, We have another one here has 3 sides. Is that all? Is that all? Yes, there's another one here, 3 sides. Okay. Yes, this one very big, 3 sides. It's a triangle. Any order? Yes, this one too has 3 sides. Qualified to be called a triangle. Yes. Do you have any order? This one too is a triangle. 3 sides. I hope you are also following, because I'm struggling to see them. There are many, and some of them are very small. This one too is a triangle. It has 3 sides. Is that all? It seems that is all what we have. 3 sides. Triangle, 3 sides. Yes, there is another one here. It has 3 sides as well. I think that's all. Well, there is another one here. This one too has 3 sides. So is that all? Is that all? So do we have all the triangles? Let's cross check and see if we have missed anyone. So far, if you have missed anyone, yes, we've missed this one. Yes, that too is a triangle. So let's try to count how many triangles do we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Can we count again and see if we have 13 triangles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 13 triangles. 13 triangles. Then we move to the last one, that is rectangle. How many rectangles do we have? How many rectangles do we have? So we are going to tick those ones in red. Rectangles, we said they are plane shapes that have 4 sides. The opposite sides are equal and they are also parallel. The opposite sides are equal and they are also parallel. So let's look at the rectangles and see how many rectangles do we have. This one here is a rectangle. It has 4 sides and the opposite sides are equal and they are also parallel to each other. So we look at another one. Yes, this one too is a rectangle. It has 4 sides. The opposite sides are equal. The sides are parallel to each other and it has 4 angles. So it is a rectangle. Is that all? No. There is another one here. This one too is a rectangle. It has 4 sides. The opposite sides are equal and they are parallel to each other. It also has 4 angles, so it is a rectangle. Are we done? No. This one. 2 is a rectangle. It has 4 sides. The opposite sides are parallel and they are also equal, so it is a rectangle. So is that all? Rectangles, we are looking for the ones that has 4 sides, the opposite sides are equal and they are parallel to each other. Here, that one too is a rectangle. It has 4 sides, the opposite sides are equal and they are parallel to each other, and it has 4 angles. So is that all? Let's try to cross check and see if we have ticked all the rectangles. 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 Yes, I think we have ticked all the rectangles and we've given them the red color. So let's count how many rectangles do we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can we confirm that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have five rectangles. So in the set of figures given to us, there are 11 squares, 13 triangles, and 5 rectangles. Then finally, we will come to the end of the lesson. I will leave you with homework. You'll have to see exercise 1.1 and exercise 1.2 of the geometry worksheet to do your homework. Until we meet again, I thank you all for your kind attention.